I have kind of criticised the inlet manifold on a 1K RFA. It's similar on a lot of cars. The air seems to go round in a circle before it goes into the engine. How that improves ram effect, I don't know. Ram effect is when the inlet valve is open for quite a time, and apparently with lower diameter, somebody told me that narrower diameter inlet into the engine, it increases the speed of the air going in, so it gives it more inertia, which causes the ram effect. That how it does that when it goes around in a circle, I don't know, but to me that's just going to strangle it. But I have studied something after college, a book called, it's a very old book, what's it called? Scientific Design of Inlet and Exhaust Systems, I think it's called. And what's they don't mention ram effect. They didn't used to. They didn't use. It was just too old for that. But a lot of it I kind of knew. But tuning, exhaust system, manifold. I always forget. They're called headers in America. Branches. Yeah. Basically, they have to be able to contain one exhaust gas exhalation. Yeah, for want of better words, if it can contain all the exhaust gases from the cylinder that leads to it, it should. That's about all you have to do, because obviously you don't want the exhaust gas going up the one pipe next to it and into that cylinder and contaminating the charge, the air and fuel, because that's not good. Because obviously it's literally like putting smoke into a fire; it'll put it out. That's all I can remember, because somebody said to me, "Oh no, it's very difficult to learn this that," but yeah, I mean, obviously the engine technology teacher said I'm not going to go into manifold design because it's quite complex, and the exhaust system isn't that difficult. But from what I've read, I think it's a 63 foot, or a 67 foot, or a 70-foot exhaust actually draws like a fire, a coal fire or a gas fire. It actually acts like a turbo, because the inertia of the gases going through the exhaust literally suck right through the engine system and suck air into the engine. But yeah, you have to have a 60 or 70-foot exhaust, so you're going to have an articulated exhaust, and it looks stupid. Yeah, you can't put it round in circles because it'll kill the inertia. But I don't know why these inlet manifolds go around in a circle, because surely it just slows it all down, and I don't know. I don't understand that. But and the other thing with that particular engine is the inlet is to one side of the engine. But it's not bad, that, actually, because what I know from tuning engines, some engines like a rich mixture and some engines like a weak mixture. Usually it's individual, but with that particular engine, it's usually the third in the third cylinder where the parts wear faster, because it's producing more power, because it's getting too much petrol in theory, but all those engines are running too lean. If they had the same, well, I've seen a lad. He didn't claim to be an expert, but what he said was he put three 1.4 litre 4-cylinder Yaris injectors into a 3-cylinder engine, a 1K RFA, and he said he could notice the difference. So it must be quite a few horsepower, about 6 to 10, I would think. And when you only have 68 to start with, it's quite a cheap mod. But as he said, I wouldn't recommend it, because you literally have to cut down the outside of the Yaris injector, because you can't bore the fuel rail out because it's very thin. And he said they can leak and they snap and things like that. But yeah, those engines will be better if the intake system was more balanced. But yeah, again, that's a problem with older engines that had carburetors. That's why you put twin carburetors on a 4-cylinder with, well, all I really know about is old A series and A pluses out of the minis, traditional minis. They had Siamese inlet ports. Obviously, they were 4-cylinders, so you'd think they would have 4 inlets, so you could put 4 carburetors on, but they were Siamese, so you could only put 2 on. But if you put 2 on, it solved the problem, because I forget which way it was, but if you only had 1, it had to go around a bend and then into the Siamese part, so it was an extra corner, and that caused mixture distribution problems, because it was all metered by the carburetor. It wasn't individually metered by the injectors, and that's why you have to have injectors and twin cams on an engine with a catalytic converter, because you want the fuel air mixture metering accurately, because if the petrol goes through and into the carburetor, into the catalytic converter, it overheats it and burns the catalyst out, because it literally aids the combination of carbon monoxide with oxygen to CO down in the air, because if you breathe carbon monoxide in, it combines with the oxygen in your blood, and if you get enough, it'll kill you because you have no oxygen in your blood to supply your muscles and brain and everything else, your internal organs. It kills you. You don't want too much of that. Well, that's how they do it when they put a pipe over the exhaust with the engine running in through the car window. It fills the car with CO2 and it kills you. But there are other things solved by the cat, and I'm not. Well, it's mainly. I'm not. I mean, they didn't used to use those when I was at college, but they used to use them in America in 1973. But yeah, I mean, they had. I think they had air injected into the inlet manifold to make it work better. But they've improved the technology since then. But I don't know. I mean, there's so many variables. I mean, I actually did a free open university course on it, and some of it I don't think it was right, because it said they put lead into petrol to increase the octane. No, they put lead into petrol to lubricate the valves. There's the stems and the seats, because, well, obviously I remember lead being taken out, and the vehicles that were converted to run on unleaded petrol, they had to put hardened seats into the valves, into the cylinder head, and hardened valves, I think, possibly, and the stems were the same. But the main trouble was the valves burning and they wouldn't seal. But no, to the best of my knowledge, the lead didn't alter the octane rating. It was which would, obviously, if it raised it, or if it raised it when you took it out, it would burn everything, because the combustion temperature would be higher and everything. But no, it was put in to lubricate the valves and stop them burning. And there were all sorts of other things. I thought, well, is that actually true? Because they're saying they're talking about respiratory problems, which could be hereditary in the person it's supposed to have caused it, and they didn't seem to consider it properly.